Hi, my name is Frank. It's Friday. Time to kick back, relax, and talk music. This is really interesting. This data comes from a company called Luminate, and Luminate is an entertainment data and analytics firm. According to their latest numbers, they show that heavy metal fans, are really into records, at least when compared to the average US consumer. Okay, check this out. Luminate's research data shows that heavy metal fans are 50% more likely to have purchased vinyl in the past 12 months and are 50% more likely to say they intend to purchase vinyl in the next 12 months when compared to the average US consumer. When I read this, I was thinking, is this a surprise or is this something I expected? I think it's a little bit of a surprise, and I guess it depends on how Luminate is defining heavy metal. If it's a broad range, like from hard rock up until underground metal, then I can see this. I mean, you only have to look at YouTube vinyl community videos to see that the hard rock and heavy metal element is really strong across all ages, right? There's people like me in my late 40s and pushing 50, but that kind of music really seems to have reached beyond my generation, right? The generation before me was into that, and even young people, right? Even young teenagers are really into, bands like Metallica. Iron Maiden is still huge. Motley Crue, despite the recent controversies, are still gigantic. So I guess this kind of makes sense, and there's actually some more to this data. Luminate also found that metal fans are 28% more likely to cite sound quality as an important factor when making a music purchase. And of course, I'm surprised, well, I shouldn't be. This is talking about metal fans, but I'm sure any serious music fan would cite sound quality as an important factor when purchasing any kind of music, right? And we all know that records can sound really good and do have a distinct sound. So I thought this was all really interesting. And this data comes on the heels of a huge metal release, which we talked about last week, and that is the new one from Metallica, 72 Seasons. And this record has set all sorts of new sales records. Have you heard about this? Check this out. 72 Seasons netted 145,000 total units in U.S. activity during its first week. So what does that mean? The way they calculate sales now has really changed. When they say 145,000 units, that includes records, includes CDs, it includes streaming equivalent, it includes digital albums, and it includes cassettes. But when we break this down further, we see that a lot of people actually went out and bought physical copies of the Metallica album. So again, check out this graph here, 145,000 total US activity, with almost 30% of that being record sales and 40% of that being CD sales. So this is interesting on a couple levels, right? We keep hearing about vinyl sales outstripping CD sales, but that clearly wasn't the case here. Metallica sold way more CD copies of the new album than vinyl, not to diminish the record sales here at all. In the first week that the album was released, fans bought over 42,000 copies of 72 Seasons on vinyl, which is 4 times greater than first week sales of Metallica's previous album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Of course, a lot has changed since 2016 when Hardwired came out. Vinyl is much more of a thing right now, right? Vinyl has gained momentum, crazy momentum in the last number of years. So that also has a lot to do with it. But again, the stats show here that 72 Seasons showed a 250% increase in sales as compared to the previous album.
Love vinyl? Tell the world with a Channel 33 RPM t-shirt. Check out the Channel 33 RPM store today.
By the way, since we're talking about incredible record sales, have you seen the figures for Record Store Day 2023? Again, according to Illuminate, RSD23 drove a modern era record of 1.426 million records sold in the US at independent stores between April 21st and April 27th. That is the largest week ever for record sales at indie stores, at least since Illuminate began tracking such sales in 1991. That is incredible. RSD routinely gets criticized, but it does have an obvious impact. Here's another cool stat. 79% of all albums sold between April 21st and April 27th were through indie record stores. Take that, Amazon and Walmart. Speaking of hard rock and heavy metal, man, there are a ton of records in those genres coming out over the next few months, which I'm looking forward to and I am likely to pick up. I'm going to run through the records I am most looking forward to, and then let me know if you're picking any of these up and what your thoughts are. So first of all, on May 19th, we have the latest release from Blood Ceremony. They are a band from Toronto, Canada. They've been described as flute-tinged witch rock. You know, it's kind of Black Sabbath meets Jethro Tull. The album is called The Old Ways Remain, and I have pre-ordered that one, and I'm really looking forward to it. Then on the same date, we have the deluxe reissue, the 40th anniversary super deluxe reissue of Black Sabbath's Live Evil. That's a 4-record set. First 2 records are the original album remastered. The second 2 records are the album remixed. I'm really curious to hear that remix. On May 26th, we have the debut release from Elegant Weapons. The album is called Horns for a Halo. Elegant Weapons is kind of a super group. It features Richie from Judas Priest on guitar, got Rex from Pantera on bass, Scott Travis from Judas Priest on drums as well. Apparently Rex and Scott only play on the album, and Richie has assembled a different lineup for touring purposes. I really dug the first single. The second one I just thought was okay, so I have pre-ordered it, but I've pre-ordered the compact disc. The record was kind of expensive, and this one, at least for me, I'm not sure was vinyl worthy. On June 2nd, we have the surprise new one from the Foo Fighters called But Here We Are. And of course, this is the first album without Taylor Hawkins, or since Taylor Hawkins' passing last year. So this one should be interesting, and I assume this is going to be a top seller. So I have pre-ordered that one on vinyl. June 9th, I think this one took a lot of people by surprise. It's the new album from Extreme, simply called Six. And there have been 3 singles. They're all kind of straight up hard rock, but the highlight of this has definitely been Nuno Betancourt's guitar playing. It's got a lot of people chatting, and I'm super curious to hear the rest of this record. I've pre-ordered this one on vinyl. 2 huge releases from Alice Cooper on June 9th. We have the expanded deluxe editions of Killer and of Schools Out, 2 classic albums. Of those 2, I prefer Killer. I never loved Schools Out. I know it's a huge album for the Alice Cooper band, but I just love Killer. I think it's an underappreciated album, and Dead Babies is one of the best songs Alice Cooper has ever done. A couple more, I'd say, I'm going to go as far as to say there's a couple more must-have albums, at least for me anyway. And finally, this one I'm still on the fence about, but on August 4th, we have the second album from Wolfgang Van Halen and his band Mammoth, WVH, and this album is simply called Mammoth 2. I've heard the new single. I thought it was okay. I've pre-ordered it for now. I may cancel my pre-order. I want to hear some more of the advanced singles, and then I'll kind of decide. But nonetheless, kind of cool to see Wolfie putting out a second album so quickly after his last one. All right, 33ers, what do you think? Are you a metalhead? Do you buy vinyl? How about these hard rock and metal releases coming up? Are you picking up any of these? What did I miss from my list? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll be back again on Sunday. Until then, keep on spinning.